Hey, what's going on? This is Icon again. Just real quick, I just want to go over the Bound for Glory pay-per-view which took place last night. I actually did get a chance to check it out, so I just want to run through it, just give my quick thoughts. So let's get right into it. The first match of the night was the X Division Championship match. DJZ defending the X Division Championship, the prestigious X Division Championship, against Trevor Lee. This was a very good match between both competitors, good way to start the show, and a good way to get the crowd involved. But in the end, DJZ, who has revamped and revitalized his career, ends up getting the victory there. So nothing special. I mean, he did come out with a cool entrance. He was dressed up like his artwork on his video. But you know, nothing crazy happened. You know, nothing happened. You know, nothing. It was just a good X Division match. He got the victory, and then we moved right along. The second match for Bound for Glory was a 10-man gauntlet match, pretty much like a mini Royal Rumble, to determine a #1 contender for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. With Tyrus being the recipient of that opportunity last year, this year actually we get my man Eli Drake ends up winning the the 10-man, and I'm actually happy. I'm happy for that because maybe I mean, obviously he's not going to be able to take on Bobby Lashley. Eli Drake will get destroyed by a Bobby Lashley, but if he ends up facing an EC3, I like the fact that Eli Drake is even being inserted into the championship picture because he's a good talent, and I think that guy he can actually have a really good main event program with somebody as long as they give him a shot. So we'll see what he does with it going forward. We then ended up getting a backstage segment. It turns out that unfortunately Drew Galloway received an injury, and he was told that he wouldn't be able to compete in the finals for the Grand Championship, which is kind of sad because everyone was actually looking forward to seeing the match between both he and Aaron Rex. But Drew Galloway was pissed. He said that he even said at one point the only reason why Billy Corgan's trying to purchase TNA is so he can have Drew Galloway on his roster. So he definitely talked a lot of trash to remind everybody that he's hurt, he's down, but he's not out. And we haven't seen the last of Drew Galloway. Definitely, they ended up giving Eddie Edwards the spot instead. Eddie Edwards was. He was the fill-in. He was the person who lost to Drew Galloway in the semifinal. So they just decided to give him, just to give him the match, which is fine. I mean, they got to make a last-minute decision, so there's no reason to, to drag this thing out. So, and it was a good match. The crowd was into it. They, there were some down moments, there were some high moments, but overall, the crowd actually was into it. They were a little bit more into Eddie Edwards. They kind of almost booed Aaron Rex at one point because I think they just wanted Eddie Edwards to get the victory. But we all knew, especially when you take the one thing about the Drew Galloway Aaron Rex matchup that I liked was the fact that between the two of them, you actually didn't know which one of them was coming out on top. But when you throw Eddie Edwards in the mix, it makes it obvious that Aaron Rex is going to be the one to get the victory, which has basically happened. Aaron Rex is your new grand champion, and I can't wait to see who the first person he gets into a feud with to defend that title. After that, we have the Miracle, Mike Bennett versus Moose, and Moose coming out with with his Little League All-Star team, like his junior football team came out. Everybody was doing the Moose. The crowd was chanting Moose. There was actually this one woman in the top little left of the ring. She you could tell she was not a Moose fan. Like she was she wasn't even happy towards the end of the match. Maybe she was a relative of Mike Bennett, but after a hard fought match between the two, it is Moose that does get the victory over the Miracle Mike Bennett, as we all knew he would. Definitely no surprise there, but happy to see the response that Moose got. When Moose first came in, he was thought of being a heel, but the guy won the fans over. Maybe it's the chant that's winning them over, and maybe not, but the guy's definitely over as a face. He's got the crowd behind him, and let's see where Moose goes from here because it's things are looking good for him. So after that, we ended up having Gail Kim get her Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which was really nice to see. They brought out some of the old knockouts. They brought out Christy Hemming, who we haven't seen, doing ring announcing for a while. And she actually did do some ring announcing for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. We saw Taryn Terrell, who was currently pregnant, showing why she's been missing in action, for such a long time. And we even got a surprise. We even got Awesome Kong, one of Gail Kim's biggest rivals, actually probably her biggest rival of all time. She came out, and since she was let go by TNA over that incident that she had with Rebby, with throwing her stuff out of the locker room. But so it was nice that it was nice that Dixie Carter brought her back and allowed her to be a part of Gail Kim's moment, because the truth of the matter is, if you're talking TNA, if you're talking the Knockouts division, if you're talking Gail Kim, it's hard to bring all that up without mentioning Awesome Kong. So to see her there was really cool. Gail Kim thanked a lot of women in the WWE. She thanked, like Molly Holly, Trish Stratus, Victoria, the girls like that, the girls that she grew up, she grew up working with and idolizing to an extent. She pretty much thanked every single person in the building, which was pretty cool. You could tell she was genuinely like happy. And then, she thanked her husband, her stepkids, and then after that, she went to the back to go get prepared for her championship match, which she ended up winning before the match got started. Maria actually came out and tried to say that her hand is still broken and she couldn't wrestle, which we all knew she'd try something like that at some point. And it was kind of silly because, she had the match with Allie, quote unquote. She ended up wrestling those two jobber girls, but now all of a sudden her hand is too broken. And then, Allie finally doing something to, to get her revenge, unknowingly getting her revenge, let everybody know that the doctor actually did clear Maria for competition, and she even showed the doctor's form, that said that Maria was able to wrestle. Maria got pissed. Gail Kim chased her around the ring. The Miracle actually came out to try to protect his wife. He even threw Maria's cast in the ring, to try to help Maria get the one up on, but it didn't work. Gail Kim hit the Eat Defeat, and not only is she a Hall of Famer, but like I called it, she is also this new 6-time Knockouts champion. And kudos to Gail Kim. She's had a great career, and we definitely we're glad it's not over yet. We definitely want to see some more Gail Kim going forward. Only now she's a Hall of Famer. Now after Maria lost the TNA Knockout Women's Championship, the Miracle Mike Bennett actually tried to help her up, and tried to talk to her. And Mike Bennett got so upset that he even said that he was going to hijack the show and would not allow the show to continue unless he gets what he wants. This brought out the debuting Cody and Brandi Rhodes. Brandi was looking really good in the outfit. Cody came out, he had the long tights on, no longer wearing the underwear. He had the cool jacket. And they didn't speak. The two of them actually didn't speak. There was a moment where when Maria finally woke up, she walked over to Cody and told him that he should have stayed in WWE. And I was surprised that she actually specifically said you should have stayed in WWE. That was actually a pretty cool moment. But then Brandi Rhodes then walked up to Maria, not allowing her to talk down to her husband. Ended up giving Maria a knee to the side of the face. Cody gave the disaster kick to the Miracle Mike Bennett, and it looks like we're off to the races. So if things continue here, it looks like we're going to have a couples versus couples, married couple versus married couple, with the Miracle and Maria versus Cody and Brandi. So good introduction for Cody Rhodes. All roads lead to Bound for Glory. So I'm looking where the roads leads for these two in the future. So then we get the Great War, which, it was really cool. A lot of things happened in the Great War. It started in the ring. Before the match even started, the entire Decay ended up blowing mist into the face of Rebby, of Rebby, which was like really funny, and she had to get taken out. The Hardys came down to the piano serenation, and Jeff Hardy telling everybody to classify him as obsolete, and we were about to find out whose glory will be received in this in this encounter, which turned out to be the Hardy family. I mean, Jeff Hardy done went through every single character he could think of. He was Jeff Hardy. He was he was he was Brother Nero. At one point he was even Willow, and then he was Jeff Hardy again. And then towards the end, when they put Crazy Steve on top of some tables and then brought out the big ladder, Matt even told Jeff that just for one night he will allow him to indulge in his obsession with high flying and spot monkeying. And Jeff Hardy off the top of the ladder comes crashing down on top of Crazy Steve, gets the victory, and the brothers Hardy, Broken Matt and Brother Nero, along with Rebby, who put Rosemary through a table via powerbomb, are your new TNA World Tag Team Champions. So kudos to the Hardys. It's nice to see them on the same page, and coming back and winning championships. And finally, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match between EC3, Ethan Carter III, and Bobby the Destroyer Lashley. And this match was actually really cool because from the moment that it started, the intensity was there and you could really feel it in both competitors. And when they were doing the pre-match introductions, when they first announced Ethan Carter, and the guy says, hailing from, Boca Raton, Florida, Ethan Carter III. And then when Ethan raises his arms to the crowd after getting his name said, Bobby Lashley actually speared the shit out of him, and Ethan fell out of the ring. Bobby then grabs, Bobby Lashley then grabs JB and, tells him to announce him as champion. And then Ethan, got back in the ring, told the referee to ring the bell, and the two of them went at it. It was definitely like a slugfest. It was a good fight back and forth. Like I said before, there's no way that Ethan should beat Bobby Lashley. He's the Destroyer. He's the most dominant champion. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what we ended up getting. The match towards the end had both competitors on top of the ropes, in which Ethan Carter tried to give the 1%er to Bobby Lashley from the top rope. Bobby Lashley ended up throwing him off the top rope, and from the second rope, Bobby Lashley speared EC3 to hell, put him down, and got the 1-2-3 victory. So Bobby Lashley, the Destroyer, rightfully so, is still your TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and I'm happy for it because he should have won. I would definitely, overall, I'll definitely give Bound for Glory an 8. Like a good solid 8 overall, because it was a good show. It probably would have got a higher grade had we gotten the Drew Galloway Aaron Rex match, but I don't want to hold anything against them for that because that wasn't really their fault. Like injuries happen. No James Storm. Not surprising, no James Storm tonight, but overall it was a good show. So still no word yet on whether or not Billy Corrigan has taken ownership or if TNA has been sold to Meek Man. I guess we'll find out in in the days to come. But if this ends up being the last show for TNA, and that'll be a sad thing. Kudos to the performers. Kudos to everybody that showed up. Like I said, the show was decent. I was definitely entertained by it, and I definitely like what I see, and I can only hope that TNA will continue going forward because I definitely want to see some more total nonstop action. So that was it. Thanks for tuning in. And again, this was just a quick rundown of the BFG. And keep it locked, and hopefully I'll be able to talk about some more TNA in another week of wrestling coming up. So take care, guys. This is Icon signing off. Just saying, have a good one.